Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little bit different, and today is going to be my 2018 palette shaming. So this is just personally something I'm doing for myself because a huge goal of mine for 2019 is to be much more selective about my eyeshadow purchases. Now I don't know about you guys, but eyeshadow is my weakness. I love eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow palettes. They're the things that I purchase the most. They make me the happiest as far as my makeup collection goes. And I've accumulated a lot, and I feel like my collection has really grown exponentially in 2018, which is a little bit frightening. So today I want to go through all the palettes that I bought in 2018, and so in 2019 I can look back at this video and remind myself that I have all these palettes that I really have not gotten enough use out of before I go and buy another one. So if you guys are interested in this, if you guys are feeling kind of the same way I am, you're just like overloaded with makeup, and you just want to kind of remind yourself that this is what I have, this is what I need to use, do this with me, do it while I'm doing this video. I'm going to be doing a lot of more kind of shop my stash videos in 2019. I'm not putting myself on a no-buy because I know myself, I know that doesn't work for me if I cut myself off cold turkey, which this sounds horrible because this is just makeup, this isn't even like food or anything like that that's actually vital to life, but I know if I cut myself off cold turkey, I'm just going to go crazy and buy way more than I need. So let's jump into the palettes that I've bought. Oh, and before I forget, this video was totally inspired by Alexandria Sutton. She did a very similar video, and in her video she kind of gave you a mini review of the palettes that she went through, so I'm going to do that with the ones that I feel like I have tested out enough to give you my full thoughts on, or at least some thoughts on. So yeah, I will link her video down below if you guys are interested in that, and let's just dive right in. So I literally have my palettes stacked. I have two huge stacks. Here's one. Whew, I'm gonna be really sad if these fall. Here's two. So two gigantic stacks that we are gonna buzz through. I'm gonna try to do this quickly because I don't want this video to be super long. Alright, so let's start with the top, and the first one is the Makeup Revolution Velvet Rose palette. Now, I had my eyes on this palette for a very long time because, as you guys can probably tell, it is a soft glam dupe. It's a spot on dupe, and this one was only $7 compared to the $42 ABH palette, which I knew this palette was just like warm neutrals, and I love warm neutrals, but I knew that I could not make myself spend, well, not make myself spend, but I knew that I couldn't justify spending $42 on another warm neutral palette, but $7 was very easy to justify. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that buzzing, it's my fridge in the background, it'll shut off in a couple minutes. So the next palette is the Colorpop Give It To Me Straight palette. I feel like my Colorpop palette collection has grown exponentially this year. Like I think I had one at the end of 2017, and now I have like 5 or 6. So this is the Give It To Me Straight palette. Now this is a beautiful palette, you guys. I love Colourpop's shadow formula, and these colors just speak to me so much. Like, this is me in a palette, you guys. It has the warm coppers, it has the beautiful berries. It's a good palette. If you see this and you like the color selection, I'd recommend it, but it's not the most crazy unique thing in my collection, so I probably didn't need to buy this, but I did, and I'm not sad that I did because it's beautiful. Next are the 4 Bad Habit After palettes. These are the original 4. These dupe the Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes. Now, if you would have asked me 9 months ago what I thought about these palettes, I probably would have had a different opinion, but I have since kind of retried them, and my thoughts are a little more shaky on them now. The color story is beautiful. This is the After Dark palette. It dupes the Huda Beauty Warm Obsessions. The color story in these palettes are absolutely beautiful, but they are borrowed from the Huda palette, so I feel like Bad Habit didn't really do a whole lot there. The matte shades are very, very, I don't want to say powdery because they're not powdery on the eyes, but when you stick your brush in there, there's a ton of kick up. This is After Hours. It's a dupe from Mauve Obsessions. And I feel like when I tap off my brush when I'm using these palettes, this is After Party, this is a dupe for Smoky Obsessions, that if I tap off my brush, that's like all the pigment that's gone, you know what I mean? So these definitely need to be used more in my collection, and I need to kind of really formulate some solid thoughts on it. And I actually ordered the Norvina dupe on Black Friday. They had some issues with my order, so they just completely refunded me, and they're sending me a free one now, and I'm really glad that they refunded me because honestly, after I ordered that palette, I dipped back into these ones, and I was kind of regretting it because I don't think I love the formula on these as much as I once thought I did. So the last one I have is Aftershock, and this is the dupe for the Electric Obsessions. So there's that. The next palette, well, that I picked up / was gifted to me. If I was gifted palettes, I'm throwing those in here too because they were still entering my collection. But this is the Milani Pure Passions palette. This is what it looks like. I love this palette. It's a warm neutral palette. It's a dupe for Urban Decay Naked Heat, which I also have. Probably didn't need to buy that either. But this is just a gorgeous warm neutral palette. It's a really, really great option from the drugstore if you're looking for one. The mattes are, I think, my favorite in this palette. The shimmers and metallics are nice too, but the mattes are just so beautifully pigmented and they blend out like a dream. Next we have the Pure Midnight Masquerade palette. This was in a BoxyCharm, and it has cheek products and eye products. Honestly, I haven't really used this palette that much. I used it when I first got it for probably about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then I just never touched it again. So I really need to play with this palette, formulate my thoughts, and then either hold on to it if I really like it or just declutter it. I am planning on doing a declutter probably in the next couple weeks. I wanted to do it all today, but I don't have enough time to film all that today. So I wanted to do this palette shaming video though before I did the declutter so you guys could kind of see my collection, at least in 2018, what I have right now. The next palette is the Spout Grandiose palette. You guys know I love this palette so much. I am so glad that they put this in BoxyCharm. The quality of these shadows is so phenomenal and the color story is right up my alley. Like, you guys are gonna hear me say this over and over again. It's warm neutrals and berry tones. That's what I love, and that's what this is, and it's stunning. The next palette is the Pretty Vulgar Nightingale palette. This was also a palette that we got in BoxyCharm, but this is a very cool tone palette. It's really not something that I have a lot of in my collection because I am a warm toned gal, and I think I used this 3 times and then I put it away. So I don't really have too many thoughts on it, but the couple times that I used it, I thought it was good. Ooh, this one's really exciting. And I'm so sad because, like, I stopped and thought about it yesterday, and I feel like I barely, like, scratched the surface with this palette. And that is the Colorpop Good Sport palette. So you guys probably already know what this looks like. It's been all over the internet. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. And it's just a beautiful fall color story. Do you guys differ your makeup between winter and fall? I just do, like, the same thing. But I think this is so stunning, and I really want to dip into this more, and it makes me sad that I haven't. The next palette is the Zodiac palette from Colorpop. This was a collaboration with Kathleen Lights, and since I loved Dream Street so much, I just went ahead and bought this one on launch day. Honestly, I wish that I had waited and thought about it a little bit more before I bought it because I don't really use this palette a whole lot, and that makes me really sad because there are some really beautiful colors in this palette. So I definitely want to get some more use out of this, kind of get to know the palette a little bit more. And the final palette is the Lorac Shine Bright Pro, well, the final palette in that stack. We still have another stack to go through, don't worry. And that's the Lorac Shine Bright Pro palette. I just finished filming a review on this literally this morning. Here's what this beauty looks like. I was so excited to buy this palette, and you guys will have to wait for that video to hear my thoughts on it. It should be up before this video, so I'll link it down below or in the cards or something. So the next palette is the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette. I literally just got this palette on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. I ordered it one of those days, and it's beautiful, and I've used it once. How sad is that? This is a stunning palette, and I cannot wait to get some more use out of it. I just want to play with it. Like, I have so many beautiful eyeshadows, and I feel like I'm not using them all, and that makes me really sad because I love eyeshadow. So I am also kind of including my singles in this because while I feel better about buying singles because then I'm not buying shades that I have over and over again, it's still eyeshadow that I'm bringing into my collection. So this is just a little empty magnetic palette, and here are some single shadows that I have. Some of these are mystery shades because I was gifted some single shadows from a friend on Instagram and they had no names on the back, so I have no idea where those came from. But we have some from Lixie Beauty, we have some from Sydney Grace Cohen here. They're beautiful, they're not getting enough love. Next is the ABH Prism palette. So I believe that I picked this up, it was definitely after Christmas last year. Maybe it was like Marchish, February, Marchish. And I picked this up because I felt like it was super unique to my collection. I didn't think I had anything like this, and I don't, but I don't really reach for this palette. I thought I would reach for it all the time, but I really don't, and I really want to because ABH's formula is so beautiful, and this is a really unique color scheme that I could have a lot of fun with. The next palette that I picked up is the Brown Sugar palette. This is also a more recent purchase. This is again a warm neutral brown palette. It's beautiful though. I love this palette. The formula on this palette is so good. Like so good, you guys. It's phenomenal. So I cannot wait to get some more use out of this one. The next palette is the Smashbox and Lotta collaboration. I don't know why I switched sides to what I was holding it up on. And here's this little beauty. This is a perfect everyday palette, you guys. It has a really nice, oops, this is hard to hold up. It has a really nice kind of mid-tone brown, a nice deep brown to deepen up the crease or use as liner, and then some beautiful mid-tone shades to kind of just throw all over your lid. And the next palette is the Blush Tribe Blossom palette. I bought this palette in June, July, something like that. But here's what it looks like. It's a matte rainbow palette. It is absolutely beautiful, you guys. These shadows are incredible. Blush Tribe is a really amazing company, and I've just really fallen in love with them the past couple months. I do plan on doing a full review of this soon, not on my YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that. I have a little surprise cooking. Next is the Juvia's Place Mini Masquerade palette. So once Juvia's Place came to Ulta, I bought a palette 2 weeks later because I have been hearing amazing things about Juvia's Place for years, and I've just never taken the plunge. So I finally ordered the Mini Masquerade palette, and it is beautiful, you guys. I love the mix of neutrals and colorful shades in here. I feel like that makes this kind of an easier palette to use and a less intimidating colorful palette to work with, if you know what I mean. The shadows are really beautifully pigmented. They blend out really nicely. This is a really great palette. The next palette is the Revolution Beauty The Wants palette. This palette was created in collaboration with Emily Noel 83. You guys know how much I adore her. Here's what this beauty looks like. I know this was kind of a controversial palette, and while I do agree that it's not the most pigmented palette that I own, it's still a good formula and it's so easy to work with. I also really love the color scheme that she has going on this palette. I feel like that is something that's unique and something that I don't have in a lot of other palettes in my collection. The next palette is the Morphe 35M. This is the Boss Mood palette. I feel like that's a weird name. Does anyone else feel like that? And here's what this baby looks like. So I did a full review on this palette, and to be totally honest, since I did that video and maybe a couple weeks after, I really haven't touched this palette a whole lot, and this is a beautiful color story. I'll leave my review video linked down below if you guys are interested in knowing more about this palette, but I don't think it's a bad palette, but I don't think it's Morphe's best palette. I definitely prefer the Jaclyn Hill palette. Okay, now we have 2 more palettes full of singles. Like I said, I was gifted a lot of these singles from a friend on Instagram, but I did purchase some of them myself. So here's one of my singles palette. I have some, oh, there's some purple in that highlighter. I have a blush, 2 highlighters from Sydney Grace Co. These are a mix of Looksy Beauty, Sydney Grace Co. I think there's some Davina in there too. And then this one is chock full of eyeshadows. There you go. So there are those. Like I mentioned in a video, I think it was my perfect Christmas palette, holiday palette, something like that. I'll link that one below as well if you guys are interested. I am thinking of doing kind of a single palette focus series on my channel where I just kind of take single shadows from my collection, make my own little palette, kind of share the palette with you guys, use it for about a month or so, come on here, talk about it, talk about how much I used it, talk about what I would change, you know, just so we're getting some more use out of these single shadows, and I think that would be interesting for you guys to watch too. And the final palette is the BH Cosmetics Festival Weekend palette. Now you guys, this was one of my favorite palettes of 2018. The color story is so beautiful. This was kind of my toe dip into the colorful world of makeup, and I think this is an amazing place to start because this palette is not chock full of just colorful shades like the Blush Tribe palette is. It does have those staple beautiful neutrals like the warm brown, the deep brown, your kind of champagne-y shade, a nice gold, a nice bronzy shade. It's just an amazing palette, you guys. If you don't have this one already, or if you need a last-minute Christmas gift idea for someone, this is a great one. So those are all my palettes that I have collected in 2018. So I bought 25 palettes in 2018. That is more than 2 palettes a month. That's frightening. So it is my goal in 2019 to greatly reduce my palette buying and to really curate my collection and to keep things that only really inspire me and things that I really love. I don't want to keep things that I'm not using. That's being a hoarder, and I don't need to be a makeup hoarder. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments below if you're kind of in the same situation, if you're feeling like overloaded with palettes. I would love to chat about it with you because I do have a lot of really great, like I said, shop my stash videos planned for 2019. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this palette shaming video. And just a little disclaimer, if you guys bought this many palettes in 2018, I'm not like saying, oh my goodness, you are the worst person ever, how dare you, because I wanted to buy more than these in 2018, but personally, I'm trying to be more conscious and to curate my collection just a little bit more. So, thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!
So, the next palette is the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette. Ow! Oh, that hurt. I'm so clumsy. The next palette is the Revolution and Emily Edit. No. There's like hair in here.